the show, and for what you done. We got that info for you. Touchdown on that plane, and for anything. More than just a podcast for you.
Welcome to another edition of the 10-4 YouTube show. I'm your host, Jamesetta, and this week we have a new panelist with us. Give it up, y'all, for the moms. Yay! Miss Monica, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Monica Johnson, and my son's name is Paris Johnson Jr., and he is a freshman at The Ohio State University.
Welcome. We are glad to have you. And also joining us this morning are Terrence, Parsons, and Kelvin, Toliver, and Randy Wade, of course. So, guys, let's jump right in. This week, we're noticing and we're seeing that Alabama, Mississippi State, other coaches are walking for justice. Your thoughts? Will it make a change? I'm going to say for me, based on where I am and the things that I'm observing in the social space, the march with Nick Saban this week was very different. One, he led it, and two, Alabama has a lot of history, and I didn't realize it at the time. It just stood out to me that he was actually leading out front, but they actually walked the same route that they walked to the schoolhouse door, which is where George Wallace stood in 1963 and said that he wouldn't allow Black students to come to Alabama. So I think that there is a little bit more historical significance in his walk. Definitely lots and lots and lots and lots of comments by different people across the country, especially in the South, because he's such a big, larger than life figure, not just in Alabama, but throughout the SEC as well. So, and he also said that this is the beginning and it's not the ending. So I think that this will be different. It'll open the door for more coaches to take a more prominent stand and to really say some of the things that we feel.
I agree with that. I applaud their efforts, but for me, I'm all about what are the next steps, what protocols and laws and legislation have to change so we can begin to move forward. And I think most of this needs to happen on the local and state level.
Any particular laws that you would like to see change personally?
To be honest, I haven't given it a lot of thought to begin to think about how the laws will change. I just know that it has to change on a local and state level for us to see immediate change. I do believe that things need to take place at the police departments first. There needs to be adequate training. For some apparent reason, police officers are threatened by people of color. They are threatened by Black people. And so we need to figure out why is that versus when, for the most part, when police are arresting a white person, regardless of their crime, they seem to be arrested and detained properly without any harm. So just trying to figure out where that disconnection is. So I think that's where I would start, but I do believe things need to happen at the local and state level.
I'm going to say this, Ms. Johnson, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I'm going to add to this. You know, over time, for centuries, we've been labeled as the problem color. And until that mindset change within people, I mean, they got to get close to God. I'm not going to make this out of a spiritual preaching session, but, you know, that stuff comes from within.
Sure.
And I think we all know that. So until they change the narrative of all of that stuff about Black people, it's going to be difficult for us to hit home with it. I mean, yes, the laws got to be changed, hold people accountable, do it different. If you want to see something different, do it differently. But it starts within, within themselves. And I think somebody that leads every police unit, enforcement, whatever it is, it starts with them. They're going to have just as much energy as they put on to get out there and protect and serve. The same energy needs to be put into making a change. And they all got to take it serious. Now, that's why this Black Lives Matter thing will never go away to this day, because they like to put Band-Aids on things for about 2 to 3 months, 6 to 7 months, and then boom, we back to square one. So the laws definitely got to change, as Ms. Johnson said, but then that starts also from within. The mindset got to change. The internal stuff got to change, because if it don't, it's never going to happen. They're going to always revert back to it.
Got it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the walks, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but I agree with all y'all. But it's like nothing really happens until something bad happens. You know, why does it take killings and a whole bunch of stuff for us to get together and stand and start to walk? These walks should have been started, you know. Like, even like when I, back here where I work at, like, I be like, let's preventative do stuff, but we don't make changes until after something bad happens. Like, some of the stuff you could try to help out beforehand, but until people start looking ahead and make changes, it's still going to happen. Like, people were dying and they still dying. Like, it's still senseless killing to the blacks. So even though we're walking and people are taking stands, we still got the problem. It's not even going away. I mean, it's happening back to back to back. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so
I agree.
We have a good start, but we need to figure out what we want to see going forward. So the next question, not to be political, but this happened this week, so it's in the news. The president called the Big Ten to help aid COVID-19 testing. Your thoughts?
I mean, it was big, and it puts a lot of pressure on the Big Ten. You know, again, it's about the money. You know, the Big Ten being part of Power 5 and all these other SEC and everybody getting ready to start playing. You know, they like, where y'all guys at? Like, y'all part of the big picture, part of the big money, but with 11 to 14 schools agreeing not to play, I don't know if the phone call's really going to change anything. Only time will tell.
Well, for me, I was ecstatic. And the reason why I was ecstatic is because, based off of what I've heard, that the biggest obstacle for the Big Ten was testing. And so now that obstacle can be removed. And so that's what made me ecstatic about it. Again, I don't know what's going to come of it. I'm remaining optimistic that the season will be reinstated. But to me, that removed one of the obstacles that allegedly the Big Ten said that they had, and that was preventing them from moving forward.
Well, I don't follow the Big Ten as well as hard as I follow the SEC, but I from everything that I've heard, it seems as though that the Big Ten wants someone or the leaders to hold their hand, tell them what to do, because they don't want to take any ownership in this. They don't want to be accountable for nothing. So to be honest with you, from what I've heard and what I see, they seem to be a bit scared to take the bull by the horns and run with this and do what's best for the conference and for these players and these universities. So that's just my own opinion from what I see and what I hear. I haven't dug into it deep, but I promise you, the way they moving, they seem scared. They seem like they don't want to be accountable for any of this. They want someone to hold their hand and them to be responsible, or the conference to tell them what to do and make them do it, is what I see.
So I'm going to be the lone dissenting voice, but y'all know how I roll. I'm going to say that it was a very savvy political move, because Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan are 3 of the top swing states in this presidential election. There are others, but those 3, he needs those votes. Football is a bringer of goodwill, and will definitely, should the season start, he's going to take credit for that. Now, this is so a savvy political move. I ain't mad at you, but this is what pisses me off. United States Air Force Academy plays in the Mountain West. The troops that you command, the people who serve you, are having the exact same problem. And yet, because there are no swing states in the Mountain West, in my opinion, you have not picked up the phone and said, okay, these are my troops. These are the future leaders of my United States Air Force. I will do nothing to ensure that they will be able to play. We knew he wasn't going for the West because he don't like California, but please do tell me about how you're an awesome commander-in-chief and you love, love, love your troops, and you're willing to help people who potentially might vote for you, but the people who are definitely going to serve and give their lives for you, you don't have nothing to offer for them to ensure that they too have the opportunity to play. And I'm gonna leave that right there. And we'll go to the next question.
Can I say something on that? Can I piggyback on that?
Okay, go ahead. You know how I roll. Please do.
I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I agree with everything you're saying.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, listen, this guy picks his battles. That being the president. He picks his battles. Wherever the seed is growing or has a potential to grow, to swing his bow, that's where he go play at. So what you saying is very true. It ain't nothing new. He been doing it since he been elected.
Yeah, powerful.
I agree with both of you, but also Biden is playing the same game, because I don't know if you all noticed, unless it was just an ad ran in the Midwest, but he actually accused his administration for there being no football in the Midwest. He accused his administration for no church service, for no for in-class instruction. So he ran an ad before Donald Trump came out and said he would help the Big Ten. So they both are playing this political game together.
If it were only run in the Midwest, I do not disagree. Absolutely do not disagree. But it wasn't run just in the Midwest. It was run.
Okay. Oh, so it was okay.
It was run different places, but you're quite right. And again, very politically savvy, but I'm a little bit salty because USAF is my son's school and he's currently serving, and you ain't lifting a finger to help the people that's going.
I agree with you. I agree. Everybody has an agenda, and our kids are the ones that are suffering because of that.
Yep. All day, every day.
Yes.
Been like that for centuries.
And I applaud your son for serving. Thank you for that. And if I can just digress for a little bit, my son Paris just started a foundation 2 years ago, and one of the pillars of his foundation is serving disabled veterans. So thank you.
Oh, we need to link up offline. Oh,
yes.
Great to meet you.
Yes.